And we are live. We are 100% live. Excuse me while I kiss the sky right quick. Um, just going through, make sure that the chats are open for everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
What's up? Shout out to the Raza.
Just shout out to the Raza. All right, you know what it is, man. This is the check in. I am your boy, Heat Detector.
I am your boy Jizzo.
And this is the check in, man. Y'all know what it is already. You should know. And if they don't know, go ahead, Jizzo.
Yeah, man. So this is the check-in. We're not licensed therapists or psychologists. We just talk about issues that affect us, that affect mental health. We talk about different things, and it always leads back to mental health. But it's just homies talking, man. So don't sue us, take us to court. None of that. You're gonna hear things you might not want to hear.
Yeah, big facts. And on top of that, if you dream of cotton candy and you know what I'm saying, bunny rabbits and unicorns and all that shit, and you got your emotions on your sleeve and you're easily offended, get the fuck off this channel because this channel ain't for you. If you don't like what we say, don't report us. Just understand and know this channel ain't for you. Change the goddamn channel. We're just some dudes who may have been through some things, may have seen some things. We are not therapists, as my host said. Um, we're not psychiatrists. We've been through some shit. We've seen some things in life. You know what I'm saying? And we may not have the answers. But we can help possibly find a solution. Possibly helps guide somebody in the right direction. You know what I mean? Or even that, or even just be in an ear to listen, or you know, just to somebody to vent to. You know what I mean? Whatever, because we all go through it. We all have shit, stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go through shit every day. We all have issues and problems with shit and people and things that go on in our lives every day. You know what I'm saying? But we deal with it. Shout out to Microphone Misfits. Happy Cinco de Mayo, fellas. The Fits are back in Chicago. That's
Back
what's
in
happening.
the shy. What up, Nick?
Shout
what
out
up,
to
Mel?
Ill for real.
What up, the whole
The
team? What up,
check-in, yeah.
Solo?
So, anyways, tonight's topic, we're gonna talk about this, and before we get started, I want to say this ain't just for men. Like, this shit happens to everybody. When a person gets into a relationship from a past toxic relationship, right? So the person they've already left this toxic ass relationship. They've done no kind of help. They don't have no tools. They haven't done shit from that toxicity that they just left, right? And they get into a new relationship, and the person that they happen to be with is cool, calm, and collected. They don't have no issues. Not saying that they're perfect, but they ain't got no issues. They ain't got no shit. They didn't just come from a toxic relationship. They didn't have these kinds of things in their background. So they're not full of any narcissism. They're not full of any avoidance. They're not full of this constant fight or flight shit. They're just cool. Just like, hey man, whatever. Like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with a person? Because we know, I think we've all kind of been in toxic relationships before. But how do you deal with that person when you're like you're not standoffish, you're not none of that. You just kind of like, all right, look, man, I'm just doing this, or if whatever happened, because I know there are people I've known people in my life, I should say, that they grew up around chaos. And so whenever there was no chaos, it was a problem. They couldn't function without the chaos. They couldn't function without the arguing, the yelling, the screaming. They couldn't. They didn't know how to function. When things were quiet, it fucked them all up. It fucked up how they thought about shit. It fucked up how they moved, how they behaved, and everything. But the chaos within the chaos, they could move and be like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a tough thing to deal with a person that is constantly looking for the chaos and starting the shit or whatever, because that's their safety zone or their comfort zone, or where just how they've learned to cope with shit. And so they don't understand the good shit when it's sitting right there in front of them, because that means something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not fighting, something's wrong. And there's a lot of people out there like that. Fuck, I was one of them motherfuckers. Like, motherfuckers, if we wasn't like, if I'm in a relationship with a woman or was, if we weren't arguing or something, or there wasn't something wrong, you know what I'm saying? To me, like, okay, like that felt like, you know what I mean?
It goes back to that old saying about like if something in life, like, man, everything's too perfect right now. What's happening?
Yeah, like something's about to break.
Like something bad
You know
gotta
what I'm
happen
saying?
because you're used to it. I think it's also like it's a good conversation. It's important that let's touch on both sides, like being the person that is the person that can't trust this new, that accept this new person, and also talk about it from the other end of you're the person having to deal with someone that you love, and they're just don't believe that you're a good guy or a good girl or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So
Could be this, yeah, it could be the other way around. We're not just talking about, like we said, we ain't just talking about dudes. You know what I mean? The dude could be fucked up. I know I was fucked up, and be in a relationship with somebody that's doing the very best. You know what I'm saying? And and I was like, man, fuck, this shit is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what would you say for the person that is the one that is being healthy in the relationship? What would you say to them for what steps they could take to deal with this person that's being difficult? Like not being difficult, but showing the signs of their past relationships and really struggling to like trust you, struggling to be with you healthy in a healthy way.
Microphone misfits. That's the key right there. When abuse is your norm, peace feels like abuse. Yeah, big facts to that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, bro, on some real shit. Like I'm learning now, like even still is like basically being still. You know what I mean? Like being patient. You know what I mean? And giving that person, reassurance or confirmation of who they are. Checking on them, knowing that because sometimes we forget to just check on people. You know what I mean? Like just normally on some normal shit. You know what I'm saying? Be like, how you doing today? You good? And when you say that to somebody, even if you're in a relationship with them, it should help them with their validation to show that you actually care. You know what I'm saying? That you actually.
So they need a lot of validation. Like that's a big part of it. Is
in my mind. Go ahead, speak up.
Some people do need a lot of validation, but they call it. Some people that's wounded already come from what you call a program. They programmed to do certain things. They programmed to move how they move because sometimes they see mom and dad move like that and they don't know no different. But sometimes you can sit down with somebody and point out some of the things that you may consider that are red flags. We all have our ideal and concept of what's a red flag to us, which are things that are not right, not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? And some people can honor them and some people can't. That makes us all different. And,
that's like one man's trash is another man's kingdom ideology.
Actual facts.
I don't know. I mean, like this to me, this is like I think it's like might be one of our tougher subjects because it's hard to gauge. I think I feel like it would be on a on a person to person shit or
well, most people will.
I'm not a fucking psychologist or
most people probably
so
walk away from something like that. Like if you think about it, like most people get to a situation and they're trying their best with this guy or they're trying their best with this girl, and this person's just not giving in, and it's just at some point like, all right, cool. Well, if you don't fucking trust me, then bye. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got no time to waste on it. So there is people that walk away from something like that. So yeah, depending on the situation specifically, like situation, depending how important that person is to you. Because if it's love, if you love somebody, you're supposed to do whatever.
By the way, we do have somebody here that you hear talking. I don't know if they want their name out there, but if they do, I'm sure they'll say it. But if not, it's cool. We also we value people's anonymity.
True.
You know what I'm saying? That. If you don't want to say it, you ain't got to say it. But I was gonna say. Shit, I forgot.
All right, so let's talk about from the other side. Now we spoke about from the side.
Oh wait, no, I remember.
You remember? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak.
We'll get back to that side of the other person.
Right. Because I think sometimes in those relationships like that, you got to be careful to not become the caretaker, the fucking, you know what I'm saying, the person that there's a name for it. The person that fucking allows them to keep doing shit. What is the name of that shit? You know what I'm saying?
Enabler.
Enabler. Yeah, because you think you're helping that person, or you're doing your best, like because you want to be the good person, you want to be whatever, and maybe they have drug and alcohol fucking problems, and they come from a toxic relationship before you, and all you want to do is try to fix them, and you can't fix a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I think that's a slippery slope too. You know what I mean? Because also too, like Misfits TV said, which is D Nick. Shout out to D Nick and the Misfits. That a motherfucker might see that as abuse. Like why in the fuck is why you why you keep touching me? Why you trying to hug me? Why you want to hug me? Or I don't know. Like,
well, yeah, they can be triggered. Like if they've been through some shit, whatever it is, in any aspect of in a relationship, and the last person used to not let them do this or tell them they couldn't do this or whatever it is, then yeah, if you have one small comment about anything related to that, it'll spark that again. They're still feeling that. But I don't know. I think you have to be like, for both sides, I think you just have to be patient and be willing to, if you want to be in that relationship, be willing. If you're the person that's on the other side, let's say you're watching this right now and you are that person, you've got someone and they're being good to you and you just refuse to believe that they're actually going to be a good person to you. Again, be patient. If that's someone you care about, someone that you love, then I mean, that those are things that both sides has their own things to work on. The side putting up with it.
So even the good person has to work on what?
Even the good person has to have patience with if they love that person like that. Yeah, if you just don't give a fuck, then see ya.
Carry the fuck
right?
On, right?
See you later. But that's what I'm saying specifically. So if it's someone you care about, someone that you want to be with, then yeah.
Or you're invested in.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Wick watching. Shout out to LaShawn Zollicoffer watching.
Peace.
I the shit, like when I think about this shit, because I know about my journey, I know about your journey. We're not going to speak too heavily on that, but they run parallel, but at the same time they're different. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of similarities and things, but they're different. And I see us both going through these struggles and try not only just to hold our relationship together, but also to hold ourselves together, because the shit is frustrating. The shit is it'll tie your brain up in a fucking knot. You know what I mean? If you're not careful.
Well, this topic isn't about me, but what I'm saying,
no, I'm not making it about you, bro. I'm just saying.
But I've seen that, bro, and I've dealt with both sides of it. I've been the fucking guy that it probably had a good person and just didn't believe it. I've been on probably both ends in my life. So yeah, I mean, shout out LaShawn. What's up?
What's up, LaShawn? There are different levels of healing within a relationship. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But when a person comes in from a talk, this is what we're talking about. If you just tuned in right now, we're talking about a person coming from a toxic relationship into a relationship with a person who's not toxic.
Yeah, and that could be any amount of time too. Like it's not like they just left the relationship and the next day. Like it could be a month, 2 months, whatever your time is that you were in a toxic relationship and then jump to like a healthy situation.
What's the old word, like baggage, bringing baggage into the relationship?
Yeah, like bringing your baggage. I mean, that's still a real word. I mean, we've talked about that on the show about dealing. I mean, all kind of baggage, baggage that you went through when you were a kid. I mean,
yeah, well,
all the trauma, that's baggage. Yeah. That shit could play in a relationship too.
So okay. So what do we? So if you're thinking about this, what do we do? Okay, so I'm the bad person, right? And the other person's the good person. As the bad person, how do I cope with that person being good to me? I think that's what we should kind of look at right now. I think, like, what do you think the tools that the little bit that we do know or may have learned on the journey that we've been on, and I ain't talking about just this type of relationship shit. I'm just talking about overall this whole check-in thing.
I would say like our guest said off air, that's off camera, about like the reassurance, but reassurance for yourself. Like start talking to yourself. It's a mental thing. We talk to ourselves. Reassure yourself that this isn't happening to you. You know, reassure yourself that this is a good person. But also at the same time, you know, like we say, trust our gut instinct, right? Like our gut feeling or whatever. I mean, if you're in a bad situation, you're in a bad situation. But if you know it's good, and you sometimes when we're fucking up and we're that person that won't trust someone, we realize it. We realize that we're
At some point, you
we're
would think
fucking crazy. Sometimes I've said it to myself, like, "Geez, am I fucking crazy?" Like,
right.
we've all had those thoughts. Maybe not everybody. You know, I've spoke to people that said, "No, I've never felt that way." But, yeah, man, there's just a lot of ways that you could look at it. But yeah, for me, it was just like I've been down that road. And shout out to Shy City Sheba.
We just call her Sheba, bro.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I
That
say
shit's
it the
too hard
first
to
time
say.
when she first appears. I say the whole thing, and then later,
Yeah.
shout out to Sheba.
Shout out to Sod Cuddle. He's watching too, man. Shout out to
What
you,
up,
my guy.
Sod?
Salute.
But yeah, bro, I think that just keep back to your question. Just keep reassuring yourself. Reassure yourself it's something that you want. Because if not, what's the other end of it? You're not gonna trust nobody. You're just not gonna be in relationships. You're gonna wait for your next toxic one. You know. Microphone Misfits TV said, "Good and bad is too binary. Is that steak work with the sizzle?"
Is that steak worth? Yeah, I think he meant. Remember, he says that all the time. Is that steak worth the sizzle?
Worth the sizzle. Yeah, that's what we were saying. So that's why I said earlier, it just depends on the situation. If you just got with someone and this person's you know, you kind of don't, you're just having that feeling they don't trust you, whatever, you walk away. But if it's someone that maybe you've been with a couple months or whatever, and you got, you know, you're feeling them, then maybe, you know, it's something that you like our guest said, you reassure them, you keep reassuring them. They need reassurance, and reassure yourself if you're that person
That you're doing the right thing
that you're doing the right thing
by
yeah.
staying around, by being patient.
Yep.
Is the steak worth the sizzle?
If it is for you, you'll
Yeah.
know. You'll know it in your situation. You'll know.
What if a person's guard is up so high and they're unwilling? Like maybe they don't even know that they're unwilling. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because the shit was so bad before that they don't even know that they have a wall.
Well, you ever talk to someone that says, you know, and someone kind of young looking, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've been single for 8 years." What? Like, I've never been single for 8 years. I've never even been single like you know, more than like a year or something like at a time type shit. So. I think some people just have that wall. And I've even back when I was dating, it was the same thing. I used to talk to people, ask them how long they've been single. You know, most people a couple 6 months, a year and a half, but then you get those 10 years. And then you just wonder, like, wow, what kind of like wall do they have up? What happened to them that they said fuck that, and it's been 10 years? You know, but
there's got, I think with all of it, I mean, I don't think people are fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be some type of give and take, right? If me and Jizzle, we just meet, right? And everybody you ever met or I ever met fucked me over, right? I like you and I fuck with you. You're like my guy, but I don't trust you. At some point, I've got to recognize, I believe, I should be able to recognize that I can trust you. That you're trustworthy. At some point,
there should be a limit. I mean, at some kind of time limit, because I mean, what are you going to go for 3 years?
Time limit.
Is it going to be 3 years, and you're going to be like, I still don't trust this guy? It's been like
no,
3-4
that's what
years.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At some point, you got to be like, yo,
figure that out.
You got to figure, you know, like, look, you know, obviously, I would pay attention to however you are. You know what I mean? I'd probably leave some money on the table and make sure you don't fucking take it. See if you take the bait. No, I wouldn't do that. That's diabolical. But I'm just saying, some people do that shit though too.
I returned a wallet today, so no, man, I wouldn't do that.
You're a better man than me. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you would think that there's got to be, you know, maybe there isn't a time limit. But again, is the steak worth the fucking sizzle?
For some people, it is.
If it's worth 3 years to wait, then it's worth 3 years to wait. LaShawn says 5 years and it's by choice. Laugh out loud, but serious.
But also seriously, is there something, I mean, and you don't have to go too personal, but also is there a situation that you were in before the 5 years that maybe was not a good situation that made you feel like that, like you didn't want to, you didn't want to date? You said by choice, because of this, I'm gonna get myself time to get to know myself. That's what a lot of people say when they're going through that transition. Like, man, I'll take myself out to eat. I'll do this. I'm getting to know myself.
What is getting to know yourself?
Probably getting to know like the things that you're cool, that you can be happy by yourself. So where you get to the point where you can handle living life by yourself and you're happy, then at that point is when people say that you should, if you want to, you meet someone, you start going out with them.
What fucking people?
What do you mean?
What people say? Go be by yourself until you can be by yourself.
A lot of people, man. I was in the dating world not that far back. I was in the dating world not that far back. I see what people talk about, what people are expecting when they're looking for someone, for a partner. There's a lot of the you better come healed people. There's a lot of everything. So I mean, yeah, that's why those people that I'm talking about, just everyone in general, says it's best if to learn how to be happy by yourself, so that afterwards when you do find a partner, you can coexist with them and not be dependent on them.
Well, I challenge
for your happiness.
I challenge LaShawn on, and she says no. I love me, and I'm okay with being alone. I think it's human nature that we want to be with someone and have someone care for us, not care for us like we need shit, but care and love us and be kind to us and be compassionate and and all those kinds of things.
Some people just hate being alone. I've heard that from people before, like, oh man, I'm with another girl already, I'm with another guy already, I hate being alone, and they just go, they don't want to be single. Well, maybe because I've been
LaShawn says, well, maybe because I've been in long-term relationships. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
maybe she just wanted some time to herself.
Maybe. Or maybe
What's
not.
the longest that you've ever been single?
The longest I've ever been single? I don't know.
In between relationships.
In between
those terms are too binary. Good people can be terrible people for each other. Good people can be terrible
for each other.
That's why there's when you marry someone and then y'all have what's it called legally, different irreconcilable differences. It could just be two good people that just didn't see eye to eye anymore. That's also true. LaShawn said, of course we want or need companionship.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's human nature, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why when they talk about people being locked up and getting put in the hole or solitary confinement, and that's why it's so inhumane, because we need human interaction,
sensory deprivation.
Yeah, we need that.
What do you think? We got somebody in here. What are your thoughts on what we're talking about?
Well, you can't have two people that can just be formatted in the way that they've grown up. And they could just have different opinions, and those opinions are what they stick with.
What does that mean, though?
What does that mean, though? You might have a person, I'm just going to say that's a lefty, and a person that's just a righty, you know what I'm saying? And they just may not see eye to eye.
Irreconcilable type.
Some people are not willing to meet in the middle, so to speak.
But a relationship is about compromise.
Not everybody's about compromise.
Well, maybe not. Maybe that motherfucker don't need to be with nobody. I don't know. I mean,
some people don't want to compromise. Remember the show about the girl, and she said, if you don't make $55,000 a year like I do, then don't come talk to me.
Well, guess what? She'll be single for the rest of her fucking life. She don't want somebody making $50,000 or less.
I personally know two people that's technically perfect for each other, but they fight every week.
They fight every week?
Every week, yeah. At least
there's got to be underlying. There's got to be underlying.
They get
shit.
drunk and fighting or something, huh?
It's got to be chaos by the weekend.
Says, what are the goals? That's true. I think like as far as like me being on my journey, I think that's like probably one of the most important things right now that I'm finding out is what are the goals within your relationship that you have with someone. Do you have a goal with that person?
They have everything. They have their cribs. They have their cars. If they wanted to have
But you
kids,
can have everything, but you still got to have goals to attain something. You know what I'm saying?
not all people.
I
are
got asked
formatted.
today. I got asked today about uh what the fuck were we talking about? Something I was telling him about a celebration he was having. It was like a anniversary or some shit, and he's like, "Well, what were you doing? Were you just getting drunk?" I was like, "Well, yeah, pretty much." And like for me, and I'm bringing that up to make a point because like for me now, my goal in a relationship is to take it all in. You know what I'm saying? And really, like for lack of better terms, stop and smell the fucking roses. You know what I mean? Because now when I look back, I'm like, fuck, I wasn't even in the moment, in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So when you ask me what was going on in that moment, I'm fucking like, what?
And I
Fuck.
was confused because I asked you, I was like, wait, because you said you were drunk, and I thought to myself, well, I've been kind of tipsy at like important things, and like, I still brought it all in, and I'm like, well, were you blackout, like super drunk? You were like, yeah. So it was like, yeah, you didn't get to intake that. It's so I mean, so that's
Well,
why.
even in my mind wasn't even ready to be taken in, or like for what it, like what I'm saying, like for what it really was. You know, it's a fucking anniversary. We were in a beautiful place, a beautiful woman in front of me, a beautiful fucking dinner, like everything was. I remember it being beautiful, but I wasn't in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I remember like, oh yeah, it was great. The fucking hotel, the fucking signature room, top floor of the fucking John Hancock, beautiful fucking gourmet meal, the whole shit, beautiful woman right across from me. But my brain was somewhere else. My thoughts were somewhere else. My thoughts were on the next fucking double fucking Jameson on the rocks and like just random conversation about, oh, look at them motherfuckers over there or whatever, and not taking in everything, you know. But my dumbass, I was toxic.
I
I'm
wanna-
still probably a little toxic. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted. Sorry, bro.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I had pulled something up earlier and then forgot because I was typing in things to talk about. But Microphone Misfits said relationships are not about compromise; it's about goals.
Okay. Maybe I used the wrong word, but like
So
I said,
I looked up before we started. I do it sometimes when we talk about the topic just to
Excuse
see what they say is like the definitions of things. So I typed in healthy relationship into Google, and on NewYork.gov, ny.gov, which I don't know why they got that on the website, but it says healthy relationships involve honesty, trust, respect, and open communication between partners, and they take effort and compromise from both people. There is no imbalance of power. Partners respect each other's independence and can make their own decisions without fear or retribution or retaliation, and share
Wow.
share
we're
decisions.
just talking about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, like, there's no imbalance of power. You just respect each other's independence, own decisions,
Boundaries.
Yeah, which I think also a part of that is the communication, because sometimes shit we have convos here to figure out shit in our head, and I think if you're in a relationship, you do have to super communicate with your partner, talk about those things so that there is no maybe an imbalance, so that there is no, you don't feel like you're getting retaliated or retributed. But yeah, honesty, trust, respect, and open communication.
Sheba says not wanting to be alone creates a dependence on romance connections to sustain you. That's not good ever. A person should be solid while living in purpose first, then allow connection to someone.
And that's why Sheba, we were talking about earlier on the dating websites, when I used to see the profiles, there's a lot of people that say, please come healed already, or something along those lines. And it's because they don't want to, they've already been through the ringer in the dating world and don't want you to come with all your shit.
Please come healed already. That's
Shit. I didn't fuck with it.
Man.
I didn't fuck with it to be there in the thing, like I said, because you go on a date, you'll meet someone, you'll kind of start seeing if we trash tales. We talk about fucked up dating stories and people that are all fucked up. So, yeah, man. I mean, what can you really do to know if someone's gonna be like that with you? Well, maybe there might be some red flags. Maybe you know start going out with them, have a date, two or
Time will
three with
tell.
them, and at the
Time will
time will
tell.
tell. Shit. And some people, we've said it
Patience.
here on the show. It takes 6 months for some people. It takes a year, but they'll show their colors, and I mean, it takes some time. Um,
Sheba says not healed.
so you're saying you're not healed? Okay. Sorry, I don't know if that's not what you were saying. Um, but yeah, people want that. But I would never put something like that on a dating thing because it's like, look, man, I don't know. Putting
Yeah.
why I guess some people just so sick of it that they gotta put up the 1 through 5 of shit that they want and don't want.
Low key,
like-
I question the motherfucker who put it on there. Please be healed or come healed, motherfuckers.
sometimes those be the people not healed too, talking
That's
about
what I'm saying.
talking about vibes and shit and this and that, and they be the ones with the worst fucking vibes and the worst is. Sheba said, just in a space where you know how to manage you without people. That's all. And that's dope. I do agree with that. I struggle with that because I've never been somebody that like wanted to be alone for a year or 2 or 5.
Hey man, loneliness is a motherfucker.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because of past trauma. We've talked about my upbringing and my mom being gone, and maybe and my dad where he was at, and things like that. So all of that shit affects now, even in the relationships.
Would you say you're
and
toxic?
friendships. I've done toxic things. Hell yeah, and that's why I think like we have this show because we're attempting to work out how to deal with some of those issues, whether it's learning how to deal with like a healthy relationship or something else, coming baggage, grief, whatever it is. These are, we're using the tools. So I don't know. I would say that I'm a better person since the show started.
I agree.
So yeah, I think a lot of us have been able to grow like with the show and the different topics. So yeah, man, I'm not perfect, but I definitely feel I'm better than I was. And even how I take things, I kind of have a list like that in my head too of things that I don't want to, that I'm not cool with accepting anymore. I already went through that in the last relationship. I'm not okay with these things, and if that shit happens, then I'll have a conversation, and if it happens again, then then it's on me or whatever. So
LaShawn says loneliness is a mental state.
a mental state.
I don't know, man. As
Meaning
human
like a
beings,
like a mental
we
issue?
desire. Maybe she's saying that like, you can just get yourself out of a loneliness state of mind. But I think if as human beings, we desire company. We desire, especially if we're talking about relationships, we desire the person, if we're in our right mind, we desire the person to be around us. You know what I'm saying? And loneliness, I think there's a lot of levels to loneliness. You know what I'm saying? Because you can be in a
yeah.
room full of motherfuckers and still feel alone.
But that's why we were, from
know?
another episode. That's why we trauma bond and shit with people. Like
Right.
everyone has trauma bond. Sheba said, "I think healing is daily, and most people don't like to share that vulnerability with people, but you really can with the right person."
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts. And sometimes the loneliness is not necessarily the physicality of it, the physical part. It's having that person to talk to. It's having someone close to you to
remember
talk to.
pen pals? I
Yeah.
mean, we've
Yeah, somebody
always
you
had
feel
the need
comfortable
to
with.
fucking communicate.
Right.
Put
You
a
have
note
to
on
be-
a bird. I mean, I don't know. We've always,
As humans.
yeah.
And I think like for me the loneliness would be the communication. I'm a talker, so I'm really choosy when I'm vulnerable with someone. I'm really choosy on like who I'm not choose. I shouldn't say choosy, but it takes a lot for me to get comfortable in order to get on that level with somebody. And then if you lose that or you don't have that, man, for me, it's a lonely ass fucking place. Because I'm not that comfortable with everybody to just tell them every fucking thing or tell them how I'm feeling or, or even, or when I'm not feeling good or even if I'm not physically feeling good, because even that, at times for me, especially before in the past, to me, that it was like being weak or something. If I tell somebody I'm sick, they may think they can get my ass or whatever. You know what I mean? I was all fucked up. I'm still fucked up and I'm still working on shit. And as my sister says, we're all still under construction every day. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and so,
saying?
but make sure to stay under construction, because I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know, I knew some about a guy on Facebook, and his post kind of started off like regular, talking about how he wished he could find a girl. It was kind of worded nicely. It was, you know, just him being vulnerable online, saying how he can't find a girl, he wishes he could get a girlfriend. But as time progressed, that shit, them posts started turning different, and it started turning like, oh, all these bitches want is just this and that, or this. It turned like into like hateful, and I think that was like his experience in just being lonely, being rejected, not having no one to talk to, um, not finding someone to like fuck with him, and that shit, that loneliness, that shit.
You think that person is gonna come into a relationship and be toxic as shit?
Uh, maybe if they're not too far gone, you know what I mean? Maybe the nasty posts were nasty, but maybe if that person's not too far gone, they might be, because they've been lonely for so long. If they find someone that wants to be with them, they're gonna do the above and beyond. The steak is gonna sizzle for them. You know, it is gonna be it's gonna be something that they're gonna want to do. And that guy will probably be the guy to put up with some girl that doesn't trust that he's a good guy and shit.
He might not go into the relationship being a good guy after all that other shit.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he'll do some fucked up shit to get it to get, you know, dumped or whatever. LaShawn said you need a companion
For confirmation.
for confirmation.
She's like, I think she means like, do you need a companion for confirmation? I'm not talking. I mean, I wasn't really necessarily talking about companionship, but I think we all, like, from someone that we love or we care about, we do desire a confirmation. We want, you know what I mean? That's the whole part about being loved, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? For a motherfucker to let you know that they care about you, or that they're willing to listen to you, or they're willing to understand you, they're willing to do things. You know what I'm saying?
Who needs more confirmation than an artist?
Yee.
Yeah, and that's
we're
also
fucked
another,
up.
that's also another show about like having these so like super high energy moments that last like 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, and then you come off the stage and you don't get that again for however much
Yeah.
amount of time, you know, and now
It-
you're fucking low waiting for confirmation, like you
It's
said.
cool to say, hey. It's cool when one of us walk down and say, hey, Heat, I like that beat.
Right.
But if somebody you already connected with, like I'm just gonna give you an instance, your daughter, your wife, or
Yeah.
one of the guys, or whoever,
they come in and
down
they go,
be
"That's
like,
dope."
I like
That-
that. I
then
know
you
where you
go,
got
"Oh,
that
fuck."
from.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I have people that they I don't know, maybe they just see me do it so much, and you know, I would like for them to be like, oh,
You
fuck.
could believe it then you know
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't know. You want people around you to love you and love what you do, and you know,
To hope and want the best for
yeah,
you.
that, yeah,
and
confirmation.
want the best for yourself, and that's why, like, back to the topic, it's a good reason that if you're that person that's in this situation, relationship, whatever, and you're not trusting the other person, you know, remember that there is the good, and like you guys were talking about right now, like, just, you know, remember that there is that good part of it, that shit.
But
You
no
know.
matter who you are in this world, believe it's always gonna be somebody in the corner hating on you, saying something about you.
Yeah, but
No matter
That's
where you,
forever.
that's-
no matter where you go, who you are.
But that's come on, man. That's everyday shit.
But see,
Every time
some
we
of-
walk outside the front door, man, that's everyday
some
shit.
of these people be believing it though.
But like, let's talk
you
about.
know?
But what we're talking about is relationships. We're talking about like let's just talk. You know, in general, it could be your son, it could be your daughter, it could be your homie, it could be your lover, your best friend, it could be whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Not outside people, man. Hate on, do whatever. You know what I mean? But within the relationships, you know, they can be toxic if you're not intimate with a person, and it's just a, you know what I'm saying, my guy. You know what I'm saying, or a daughter and a father, or a son and a father. They can be toxic, but even that, where does it come from? Because I know I'm dealing with things from my
Yeah.
past behaviors with my children now, and you know, I think we're in a good space. Could it be better? Yes, but we're working on that. You know what I mean? You know, I can't right my wrongs, but I can right now. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to talk about wrongs because maybe some people might got misunderstood of some of the stuff that we said. because I looked up something else and it said depending I looked up, do healthy couples argue? It said
Yes.
depending on their temperaments and personalities, some healthy couples argue every day, others may only have disagreements once in a while. The crucial thing is to remember there is no normal when it comes to how often married couples fight. So and
Well, that's in
it
relationships,
also said about
period.
how you handle it. It's
Yeah.
how you handle it. So I think your other partner can say no, I don't trust you, and you can be over here saying no, I swear I'm a good guy, but it's how you handle it, because
Right.
she might just be like, fuck you, get the fuck out of the house. Not the way to handle it. I mean,
Right.
have your issues, talk about it with your partner.
Your actions have to speak too. If you're really that non-toxic person and they don't trust you, then is the steak worth the sizzle? Once again, do you want to do the work and say and show them every single day that you can be trusted? You know what I'm saying? Or do you just don't give a fuck? You just say, you know what, look, I've tried for months or a year or whatever already. You still don't fucking trust me. I gotta go. Is the steak worth the sizzle? You know what I'm saying? Do you want to continue and be patient and, I don't know, ride it out until they see that you're trustworthy? Just like I was talking about earlier, you know what I mean, about our relationship, or not necessarily our relationship, but being trustworthy and being vulnerable with somebody. Do you stick around? You wait? It's a little different from men. I think if like when we go into relationships, I have to for me, I have to know I can trust you immediately. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching to me, with making friends, I watch first couple of times, I watch the behavior, I watch how they interact with me, how they interact with other people, and then I make my decision. Okay, I think I can trust this motherfucker. I'm gonna put my foot forward and trust this motherfucker. For lack of better words or statements or whatever the fuck. But when I do, I think sometimes I have made the mistake of trusting immediately or trusting more than I should have, even when there was red flags jumping all over the place in my head. But at the same time, I wasn't really in the right mind or whatever to even recognize those things. Now I recognize the shit out of the shit now. So when I see those things immediately, I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what you got going on over there?
No, just it was like some key points. So what should I do if my partner doesn't trust me? Remind yourself that it's not about you was one of them. Try to be empathetic and connect to your partner's past. Tell the truth.
Right.
And look for ways to love your partner well, which is maybe part of the reassurance. And then it ends with encourage your partner to begin therapy or attend couples therapy. So that's part of the conversation. If your guy is going through some things and they're having issues, you most likely you can't fix it. So you'll have to go to therapy. We all, it's not do I need therapy? It's can I benefit from it?
Right.
So,
and I've known motherfuckers that were went in there and they were in relationships that were trying to fix the person. Couple, some friends of mine in the past that they were trying to fix this person and end up trying to fix that person, end up getting fucked up themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because not only were they enabling that person, then that person somehow started enabling them, and then they ended up enabling each other. And the next thing you know, this motherfucker is more fucked up than the person that they were trying to save, and they were still trying to save that person and not even looking for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. I know plenty of motherfuckers that shit has happened to. Shit, I may have been involved with that shit my goddamn self. You know what I mean? No, I know I have. On the other end of it. On the other end of someone wanting me to fix me and doing everything that they could to fix me. But it's me at the end of the day that has to fix me and has to want to fix me. You know what I'm saying? So I think when those toxic relationships or whatever, I mean, yeah, is the steak, I don't know. It just keeps going back. Is the steak worth the sizzle? You know what I'm saying? So if you want to stick around and you have faith in that person and you have patience and you then you stick the fuck around.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you're truly genuine about how you feel and you're truly genuine in your actions, they don't have to see it, but they should see it.
Hopefully, you would hope that.
You would hope and think that they would. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, all that matters is that I'm being true to me, or you're being true to you, or you know, or whatever person that's dealing with that is being true to themselves at the end of the day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, and I've said this a million times, man, you're not in charge of that other person. You're not in charge of their behaviors. You're not in charge of their feelings. You're not in charge of none of that shit. You're in charge of you. I'm in charge of me. And it's up to me, if I want to be a better person, to be a better person to everybody around me.
That's considered the airplane effect. Because if you ain't happy, why should everybody else be happy?
Yeah, misery loves company, or whatever in the fuck. There's a lot of analogies for that. But yeah, at any time you're doing something like that, or making changes, or you being good with a person in a relationship, or whatever in the fuck, it ain't up to you. You can't fix them. You know what I'm saying? Like you had read in the shit before. Like, you can't fix them. You can't. You can reassure them. You can uplift them. You know, give them the most like reassurance that you're there for them. You know what I mean? If they want to talk, or I don't fuck no. I'm not a goddamn therapist. I don't know. I just know what I deal with. I know how I deal with things. You know what I'm saying? I know how, like, especially now. I say this shit all the time. They're like, when I used to drink and get all fucked up all the time, I never really paid attention to everything. So shit used to fly by my head all the time. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be saying things, doing shit, and it would either fly over my head, or I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd see it, but I just wouldn't give a fuck. Now I'm like a Golden Glove motherfucking shortstop. I mean, ain't nothing get past me. I see the shit. I know, I recognize it for what it is, and I see it. But how I deal with it and how I manage that shit is, I think, is where my other struggle comes in. But I'm getting better with that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because dealing in that, especially when you see it and you know what you're looking at, and the other person doesn't have a fucking clue what they're doing. Because in their mind, they ain't doing shit. But you see it. You see it in their actions. You see it in the words that come out of their mouth. You see it in their behavior. You see it. And you're like, oh, okay, so how do I deal with that and be comforting and be understanding and do my best to try to help them to understand that you see it, or that it's happening, because that's touchy. That's touchy as fuck. Because a lot of people ain't trying to hear that shit. They're not trying to hear, like, oh, you realize what you just said to me, or you realize what you're doing right now. A lot of people ain't trying to hear that shit. Because that means they have to look at themselves. They have to the mirror. They have to look in the mirror and say, wait a minute, hold up. Because I know I'm not fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know what I see. I know, but what the fuck you gonna do? All you can do is work on you every day. And like my sister says to me all the time, man, we are under construction every day. And if that's, that's where I want to be. I want to be under construction every day. I don't have good days. Sometimes I'm the biggest prick on the fucking planet, and I know it. That's the crazy thing, is I fucking know it. I know I'm an asshole at times. I'm learning now, like, and that's a hard ass thing for me to deal with, because sometimes I'm such a fucking ass. I don't even fucking realize I'm being an asshole. I feel like I'm just being normal, or just being myself. And I'm being a fucking dick, like, for real. And I'll say things, and then I catch myself, but then sometimes it's too late, because I've already fucking said it. Then I fucking have to double back and be on some, hey man, sorry about that. You know what I'm saying? But man, what the fuck do I know, man? I just about teared up right now. Shit. Let me slow down. But it's a tough road, man. It's a tough road. And relationships, period, are tough. But if you want something, to me, if you want something, then work at it. Period. Do your best. If it doesn't work out, dip. Go do you.
Yeah.
God damn.
You need to.
Trying to get all emotional and shit. The fuck?
I mean, you speaking the truth, man. Like, yeah, and if that resonates with someone that may be watching, and you're in that situation, then then that was for you.
Oh boy. All right, let's call it one, man. I want to thank everybody that came in and checked in with us tonight. That's here, that's been in the comments. Shout out to everybody that's been in the comments. Shout out to everybody that has been on Rumble. Sorry didn't get a chance to holler at y'all, but shout out to y'all. We'll be here next Sunday, like we are here every goddamn Sunday at 8:30. We might be a little late sometimes, but we're always on time.
Always on time.
Shout out to everybody that's watched us before in the past, man. Wake up tomorrow, be better, do better tomorrow. We are not promised anything, so live in the moment, be in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And like, subscribe, and share. And if you watched us on Facebook, go to the YouTube channel at Unwrapped and like and subscribe, please.
Hit the notification
bell too as well.
So when this shit, anything drops on this channel, y'all get it right away.
Shout out to Sheba. We love you too. She says peace. Love y'all. Hey,
peace, Sheba.
And you know what we do at the end of the show, my man. You might want to come back over to the mic because you're up on the mic first. Where anybody that has last words, we do last words at the end of the show. So my man's last thoughts on the topic tonight. Go ahead. Speak your piece, brother.
Watch for all red flags.
Watch for all red flags.
Basically, if it don't work for you, give it a little time. Give it a little peace. Give it a little patience. And if it don't work, give it a vacation.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. Anybody else? Nobody?
Who we got? Come on up.
Come on up. Nobody?
Yeah. Hold on. We got somebody.
Okay. Thoughts? Okay.
Just because it doesn't work in the beginning doesn't mean it won't work in the end. Okay. I don't want people to think just because of this topic that when bad things happen, you got to run away from love, because love is a very strong thing and there's no reason to run away from it. And it's something that you got to work for.
Facts.
You got to work for the love. You can't just expect it to come to you, because things don't happen that way. Love is like the real world. It's going to hit you, but when it hits you, can you get up?
Okay. Anybody else? Is that it? Okay. Jizzo?
Yeah, I wrote in a song one time. I don't remember the whole bar, but I said that I hope that I'm woke when the woman of my dreams would come my way. So, I was saying like, yeah, man, I hope that I'm woke when that right person would come, that I wouldn't be in this state of, be sleep, man, be on that bullshit or whatever. So, prepare yourself if you can, get yourself right. Like we said in the show, for when you do come across somebody that's going to be your partner, you're prepared. But if you do get in that situation, just echoing what everybody said, man, about being patient, not walking away. If the steak is worth the sizzle, then you stay there and you put in the work that's required. And that's pretty much it, man. Jizzle for Shizzle on Instagram, and y'all make sure to subscribe to the Unwrapped channel, hit the notification bell, and follow everything they do on the show.
Hold on, we do have.
All right. I mustered the courage, I guess, but I think challenge yourself and surround yourself with people that challenge you to be better, to do better. That's it.
I like that. All right, well, I'm gonna say this. My last words. I'm gonna piggyback off of the same thing that has been said. Is the steak worth the sizzle? Is it worth the sizzle? Only you know.
Yeah.
If it's worth the sizzle. Only you know what sits in front of you, and is it worth it or not? And only you know if you have the patience, or are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to fight for what it is that you believe in, or what you love, or what you cherish? Are you willing to stand there through thick and thin? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to make the changes? That's key. Because even if you're not toxic, you're gonna have to change some because not everybody is perfect. You might have to walk a little different. You might have to quit drinking. You might have to fucking stop doing coke. I don't know. You might have to stop doing something. You know, you might have to learn to listen more. You might have to learn to fucking talk and communicate. You know, you might have to learn to have boundaries and stand on them. You might have to learn to do all of those fucking things. But even if you have to learn to do all of those things, doesn't mean you're toxic. You know, we all can get help. We all can change. We can all be better people. You know what I'm saying? And with that, this has been the check-in, man. We love y'all, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Sunday, 8:30.
Sunday, 8:30. It's your boy, Heat Detector. Like, subscribe to the channel at YouTube at Unwrap, UNRAP. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Peace.
Peace out.